prince stood by the tower, listening to Rapunzel sing. One day when the prince was standing behind a tree, hiding, the witch came to the tower, and he heard her say, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And immediately the long, long hair, the long golden plaited hair, fell to the ground, and the prince watched as the witch climbed up the tower and in at the window. If that is how I can get to see who was up in that tower, I'll try it too, said the prince. So the next day at twilight, the prince stood by the foot of the tower and he cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Immediately, the plait of hair came tumbling down. What did the prince do? Rihanna, what do you think the prince is going to do?
Climb up herself.
He's going to climb up and see who that is. Rapunzel was surprised and rather afraid when she found that a man had climbed up to her room in the tower. And as for the prince, when he saw the beautiful Rapunzel, he was overjoyed. He talked kindly to her and she soon lost her fear. He told her how for many months he had stood outside the tower every day listening to her beautiful singing. The prince asked Rapunzel if he might come to visit her again, and she replied, "Come to see me in the evening, for the witch only comes to me during the day." So for many months the prince visited Rapunzel. Every evening they grew to love each other, and after a while the prince asked Rapunzel to marry him, and she replied, "I would gladly do so." And they talked together of how Rapunzel could get out of the tower. At last Rapunzel thought of a plan. "Every evening when you come to see me," she said to the prince, "bring some silk, and I shall weave the silk into a ladder. When it is long enough to reach the ground, I shall come down, and you can carry me away on your horse." And they agreed on this plan, and every night the prince bought a fresh skein of silk, and every day Rapunzel wove the silk into a ladder. During all this time the witch knew nothing about the prince coming up the tower. And one day after the witch had climbed up the tower, Rapunzel spoke. "How is it, good mother, that you feel so much heavier than the prince?" "Oh, so a prince has been coming to see you," shouted the witch. "I thought I'd separated you from the world. Now I find that you've deceived me." And in her anger the witch seized a pair of scissors and cut off Rapunzel's beautiful hair. She took the poor girl away to the desert, and she left her there weeping. And the same night the witch returned to the tower, and she fastened Rapunzel's hair to a hook. And when the prince arrived, and he cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," then the witch threw the plait of hair out the window, and the prince climbed up and found himself face to face, not with his beautiful Rapunzel, but with the angry witch. "Ah," cried the witch, "you have come to find your lady love, but she's gone and you'll never see her again." The prince thought that Rapunzel was dead, and in his sorrow he jumped from the high window of the tower and fell to the ground. He was not killed, but his eyes were scratched out by the thorns among which he fell, and he couldn't see. For some years the poor blind prince wandered sadly through the forest. His only food were the roots and the berries he found there. He did not care about anything. His only thought was that he had lost his dear Rapunzel. At last he came to the desert where Rapunzel lived in sorrow, and in the distance he could hear her singing, and he knew her voice at once. The blind prince stumbled towards the voice he loved, and as soon as she saw him, Rapunzel knew that this poor man in rags was her prince. she ran into his arms. She was so glad to see him and so sad to find him blind that her tears filled quickly, and 2 large teardrops fell on his eyes, and they fixed up his eyes. Immediately he was as well as ever. And how Rapunzel and the prince were to be together, how happy they were to be together again. It didn't matter to them that they were in rags. They forgot the sad years behind them. Hand in hand they made their way happily through the forest to the prince's kingdom. There they were married, and they lived happily ever after. Rapunzel. You heard that story? Okie dokie. Okey pokey. Right there.
What is it doing?